What's up, guys? I'm Josh and I lift things, and I'm here to talk about beginner questions from an AI. Guys, if you don't know, there's this awesome new AI chat tool called OpenAI. In fact, I had them write a little intro script for me. Hello, and welcome to the weightlifting channel. Today we're doing something a little different. We're going to be answering some common weightlifting questions that we often hear from beginners, and we're going to be using an AI to ask us these questions. That was actually better than most of my intros. But yeah, guys, here it is. So here's me saying, write a YouTube video intro script where I answer beginner weightlifting questions from an AI. And they ended up just going off with all these questions, but let me just type something in here and we are off. So I think it's going to list 10 of them. That's what I did when I messed with this. So let's just answer all of these as fast as possible. A lot of these are going to be videos that I'd like to make a full fleshed out version on in the future, but let's just jump into it. What are some basic exercises that I should start with as a beginner? The compound movements, bench, squat, dead, and then throw in rows, vertical pulls. Maybe some basic plyometrics if you'd like to, some very basic cardio, and that can be elliptical, bike, treadmill, whatever. How many days per week should I lift weights? As a beginner, 3. You could get away with 2, you could get away with 4, but 3 is probably the sweet spot with a day of rest in between. Is it important to have a spotter when lifting weights? Yeah, especially when you're first starting. If you don't have a good understanding of form, it could definitely be beneficial, but there's tons of ways to do most lifts without needing a spotter. The biggest one's going to be bench press. I personally don't use any clips when I bench press, so that way if like the weight gets stuck on me, I can just tilt in one direction and the weights will slide off and I'll be fine. But a lot of people don't feel comfortable doing that, so having a spotter is nice. If you don't have a gym bro, just ask some random guy whenever you're doing a PR. How can I properly warm up before a weightlifting session? What a good question. Check my video on auto regulation, top right corner. The biggest thing you want to do is do what feels right for you. For instance, on my press days, I have kind of wonky shoulders, so I do a whole lot of band work, a whole lot of warm-up work. My warm-up specifically is 5 minutes of elliptical or incline treadmill if one of the other one's taken, followed by some light dynamic stretching, usually Joe DeFranco's Agile 8. I then do a whole lot of band work, and then I jump on the movement I'm going to be performing that day, and I do it for very low weight and for high reps, kind of messing around with my form. For instance, on overhead press, I may get the bar down and kind of roll around on my shoulders just to try to get a little bit of extra blood in there. And then as I add weight up to my working set, I drop reps. And then I'm ready to go. It's going to be different for everyone, so you have to find something that works for you. How do I know how much weight to use? If you're using a real program, they will have an actual method for you to find that weight. But you want to find a weight that you can do for whatever amount of sets you want to do, leaving about 1 to 2 reps in reserve. You can watch my video on that after every single set. And then for your final set, you can train more close to failure, which is really just when your form breaks down. What should I eat before and after a weightlifting workout? This question actually has a whole lot of nuance to it, but for the most part, if you're going to eat a real meal, you want to do it roughly 2 to 3 hours outside of the gym. That way you're not really full when you go in there, and make sure there's a good protein or a complex carbohydrate. If you're going to eat closer to the gym, have a simple carbohydrate. You could even have some honey on your way to the gym. As for post-exercise nutrition, just some protein, a carbohydrate. Depending on how late in the day, if you're trying to do some nutrient timing stuff, you may have some issues. If you're trying to do some carb cycling stuff, you may have some issues. But at the end, just eat when you can. It doesn't have to be that optimal, especially as a beginner. You do not need your post-workout shake to fit your anabolic window. Can I lift weights if I have an injury or medical condition? Well, medical condition complies if it's actually been diagnosed by a doctor. So ask your fucking doctor. People all the time love to come in these discords like, hey, I have a fractured fucking whatever. Dude, we don't know. We're not doctors. Or at least I'm not. So talk to your doctor. If you can do something without pain, it's probably fine. It's very important for a beginner to learn the difference between just general muscle soreness and an actual injury. And sometimes you have to push through some soreness to figure out what the case is. Just don't be a fucking idiot. How can I prevent muscle soreness after lifting weights? You could take a cold shower, you could take a hot shower, you could rest more, you could stretch more, you could do more active cardio. At the end of the day, soreness is kind of just a part of it, and DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, will really start to go away after you've been lifting for a couple of weeks, other than when you do a massive burnout killer workout. What are some common mistakes that beginners make when lifting weights? The biggest one is probably not tracking their workouts and using progressive overload. They just go in there with an idea of what they want to do that day, and then they do it, which is awesome if that keeps you interested in showing back up to the gym. But as far as being optimal, it's really a far cry. Using too many exercises, a lot of guys will they'll have more chest exercises than they do back when your chest is a pretty small muscle group compared to your entire fucking back, right? A lot of guys will do 8 bicep variations, which is just absurd. Ego lifting is another very bad mistake. They see their buddies in their high school weight room lifting this much and they have no experience, so they throw on that much and then they go to Snap City. One-way fucking ticket. Another big thing is listening to assholes on YouTube. So turn the video off, I guess. And finally, how do I progress and increase the difficulty of my weightlifting routine? This is perfect. So you want to use progressive overload. Link in the top right hand corner. I have an awesome video on that where I discuss how to use progressive overload and why it's useful. In short, you want to alter the training variables, again, my link for the video in that in the top right hand corner, by adding more weight, doing more reps, doing it more frequently, using rest, and using a longer tempo in some type of specified manner. Hopefully. And guys, that was 10 beginner questions using an AI to generate them. And these were actually really good. I'll probably do this a couple more times to see what general questions I can get answered. Obviously, videos going into more detail on each of these type of questions will be coming out because they, I think, are more useful. They'll at least get more clicks because I can probably put the fucking shit in the title. But yeah, guys, that is it. This is really cool, actually. I definitely recommend checking out this website. Anyways, I hope you guys think that this was a cool concept because you'll probably be seeing it some more. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.